What's going on, everyone? Mr. Aquaman here from the Kolosseum, and I want to tell you about Season 2 that is starting tomorrow from when this video is being released. Season 2 of the Kolosseum. It's going to be a 10-week series for Mortal Kombat X, Injustice 2, and Mortal Kombat 11. Every single week, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. There's a brand new format. It's called matchmaking. Think of it like playing in ranked, like competing in Combat League, only in a competitive setting. You're going to constantly and consistently get matches throughout pools, no downtimes, no DQs. Each week, there's going to be a top 8 from that phase that will play live on stream. Nice and simple, 8 weeks of action and a 2-week finale for top 16 players in points. It's going to be every single week. Signups are going to be in the description below, and I hope you guys enjoy this episode of the KoloCast. And we'll see you live for the Kolosseum Season 2. Finally, coming live to YouTube for you guys. We hope you enjoy this episode as we get to know one of our own QR. What is going on, everyone, and welcome to the KoloCast, a weekly podcast from us here at the Kolosseum. My name is Mr. Aquaman, one of your hosts, and joined by the one and only Flashyy over there. What's going on, Flashyy?
Aquaman, how's it going? I'm super excited for this one. We have a wizard, an absolute wizard in the graphics department with us today, and we're going to be getting into all the behind the scenes of the Kolosseum here, and it's going to be a ton of fun. So please bring our guest in. Let's start chopping it up with him. Let's start talking. I'm excited.
Introduction of the wizard himself arriving precisely when he means to. For all of you token nerds out there, welcome to the KoloCast. And not just a awesome content creator and graphics master, and we'll get into all the stuff that he's got going on, but he also happens to be the other humongous brain that is behind the Kolosseum and the events that you guys that are going to be watching this on YouTube or listening to this on Spotify enjoy. And QR is the one that makes it look fantastic, sound fantastic, and I've taken the credit for all of it, being honest with you guys. So this is actually the guy that makes the Kolosseum look as good as it does. So without further introduction, it's the one and only QR. Welcome to the KoloCast, man.
Hey guys, thanks for having me. And yeah, we try. we try to put on a good production when it comes to Call.
Yeah,
that's all he's got. He's like, we try our best. That's it.
Guys, this is QR in a nutshell, though.
Yeah, he's just out here transcending graphic design, and he's just like, yeah, I tried. Yeah. That's it.
Well, you know what's funny, though? It's funny, because it's like, maybe a lot of people find things interesting, but when you do something for so long, it's just not interesting, you know?
You just know it's like, everything that you do.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, it's just like, how much do you want to talk about, like, okay, you know, all the little things that we do at Kolosseum or whatever. It's not... It gets you just wind up talking too much, and then you bore people. By the way, this I'm predicting to be the highest viewed KoloCast.
Okay,
so you guys are welcung.
Which is a very
thank you for gracing us with your...
coming from someone that no one in the MK world knows.
I was about to say, this is the only episode where we're introducing someone
like,
almost everyone in the chat probably doesn't know about, unless you hear me shout them out live or on Twitter. Guys, QR is the best.
No clue.
But
let's wrap it. Let's all wrap this up nicely and talk about how QR did you get involved with this man over here and Mortal Kombat without even knowing a single Mortal Kombat character. How did you get involved in all of this?
Ooh. So yeah, it's actually it's kind of a nutty story, especially once you find out, like, you know, once we did meet each other, how much we have in common. But in around 2017, I was looking at streaming platforms, and there was one called StreamMe. And I approached StreamMe as a user and wound up like really loving the feature set that they had and the design of it. And it was at that time.
Yeah.
This was before Twitch was bought by Amazon too. At that time, they were ahead. I mean, this was live streaming within 3 seconds, which was unheard of at the time. Amazing platform. I loved it. So I started using it, and then I wanted to make a graphic, and I wanted the StreamMe logo, and they didn't have like a brand assets page or anything like that. So I reached out to their support team, and I was like, hey, you guys have a high res version of your logo, like so that we can use it to like make promos and stuff? And they were like, sure. So, but they didn't have it available publicly. So anyway, so then I started talking to them. They were like, well, what are you doing? I'm making this promo. I made it. They saw it and they were like, can you make something for this Overwatch event that we're doing? And I'm like, yeah, sure. So then we start making stuff, and then they eventually like, okay, well, we'll pay you for this, and you know, for this event and that. And then they got me on a contract for a while, and then they flew me down for a week because they were working on like not only just like these you know, kind of like short promotions where they were like just having people play like Overwatch, but then they started getting into tournaments, right? And then so they wanted help with not really the stills, but like more of like the animations and the videos and the trailers and stuff, which is, you know, you saw my work like at the very beginning of War of the Gods all the way through to the end when it comes to the trailers and stuff. So they brought me down for a week. I got a job there. I met Mr. Aquaman there, and then we worked pretty closely like for a couple of years at StreamMe, and it was great. And then we find out that we literally like I'm tracing his steps. Like him and I both grew up in the same areas, which was nutty.
Next to this, they were towns that were side by side. I kid you not. For everyone watching, this is how small of a world we live in. Is that we grew up a town apart in the state of New Hampshire. Who's even heard of New Hampshire these days?
I didn't even know that was a state.
I was in a meeting today where there was someone else from New Hampshire, and they were like mind blown. They were like, what? You're from New Hampshire? Yeah. Small world. And then we wound up actually both living in Virginia, like the same thing, same towns over.
A couple years apart is like he keeps doing everything I keep doing, like a couple years behind me, which has been a crazy coincidence. And then we also happened to meet each other in Texas there at StreamMe, and talking about small world. Continue.
Yeah. So and you know, now like I'm ahead of you and I've moved back to New Hampshire, so it's your turn, right? No.
Listen, here's the thing. I've gotten acclimated to the southern climate, and it's fucking cold up there. I'm just gonna call it what it is. It's fucking cold, and
yeah, I mean, Aqua knows. I just bought a house and I'm dealing with the stupid New Hampshire problems. Like I have mice right now and it's not fun. But yeah, I do love Texas, and I think I'm gonna wind up going back there or at least somewhere else. At some point. But that's how we met. So we've been working on tournaments, you know, at StreamMe. I mean, since 2017. Yep. So when it comes to Kolosseum, it's really no different than how Ryan and I or Aqua and I have been operating for the last
government names. No, shut it down. Cancel this episode.
We're done.
I don't need no one.
So it's been great, and we worked really well at StreamMe. Like we had our desks next to each other. We were always like collaborating on, you know, the presentation of not only like the tournament stuff, but some of the StreamMe stuff too. Because I was working on like the marketing stuff for the StreamMe platform too. So yeah, that's kind of how it started.
So in the call before we started recording, we were just like chatting a little bit how we always do. I mean, we always have calls together about everything Kolosseum related. But you were mentioning that you and Aquaman put on, if I'm not mistaken, Fortnite and PUBG tournaments. How is this man over here, the biggest KoloCast down player in the history of MK Universe? Yeah. How is this man involved in Fortnite tournaments and PUBG tournaments, and just how did all that begin? Was this all just through StreamMe as well?
Yep. Yeah, I can't really. I didn't work too much on the PUBG side of things. We did some work there.
He did the logo and the trailer. So I mean,
that's
a lot.
But the tournament was like managed from someone else, right? But we did this really cool thing, and this was kind of a night. I was at the gym with Aqua, and I was like, hey, I've got this idea of how we could get possibly some new users to StreamMe. It's like Fortnite was blown up. It was huge, right? And so everyone's playing it, everyone is streaming it. We had this idea that we'll put out our own version of Fortnite challenges, which is something that was in the game already. You complete the challenge on stream and you submit it and you get a reward if you're the first one to do it. And there's like a certain amount of people who can do it. So we implemented that into our site, and we were keeping up with it. It was really cool. We were able to kind of take that a step further and have that community of people and turn it into like an invitational tournament in Fortnite. So it was it was a huge production. We were pulling in like what you see now with like Twitch Rivals is what we were doing at Streamy at the time, which was pulling in live streams and then redistributing them with commentators and trying to kind of assemble what is this such a sandbox game with so many different players and point of views and things going on all at once. We were able to kind of pull that together and make a really, really awesome production out of it. And a lot of that has to go towards Vince too. He was managing all of that. I mean, we had a kick-ass design for the stream and stuff, but he was managing all of those video feeds and pulling in the streams. And
if I remember correctly, it was 4 at a time. I don't know if we did all 8 at one time because we had eight streamers competing in it. 4 streamers I think we had coming in at one time for him to kind of filter through, and then we would swap the 4. I think at the time we were pulling it in via a link that would just change. But even that was like really complex and in that we had to get it kind of directly from Stream Me, whereas if you were to try to do that on like Twitch or something, it'd be different. You'd almost have to pull it in from the browser itself and then just full screen it or something. There was a hard way to get it directly, and so we were able to do that and just do really cool production things at Streamy that we really just kind of owned our craft together, and me and QR worked really well together on stuff like trailers and like stuff that would pop live, and I take full responsibility for him being involved so heavily in fighting games, something that he probably the last thing he thought he was going to get involved with.
You brainwashed him, man. You brainwashed him and brought him over here.
So the end of the story at Streamy for me was leaving the company and starting to do my own thing, and I wanted to get a Mortal Kombat series together with a certain idea behind it that I thought would have worked at the time, and so I decided to do it on my own. And I reached out to QR because, again, if I'm looking to have graphics done for this thing, I'm like, I already know this guy, and we already work so well together that we just kind of bounced ideas back and forth, and all of a sudden the Kolosseum is what it is today, which is just something awesome that it's basically a passion project of ours. Would you say, QR? Well, everyone involved with it, really.
Yep.
Yourself included, Flashy, now.
Yep.
Yeah, I think the Kolosseum is built upon the community and by the community, which I think is kind of our whole thing and what we pride ourselves with. Literally all the musicians, graphics, talent, all of it. It's all built from the community. And you can see that, in the end product. Like, everyone here works really hard. It puts in a lot of time to put on what might look like such a simple thing. But no, we have a great group of people working on, like from music, and then, again, Vince with the production, doing the producing, just all around, everyone has been doing a fantastic job. Since the first Kolosseum, which was before the Kolosseum Studios was even around. It's been great, and I've been like super proud. Like, I was looking at it the other day. Like, if you go to our website, you go to the events, it's like we have, like, at the end of the year, I want to take all of the stuff that we've accomplished in this year, including starting the KoloCast and all the tournaments, and how many streams, how many players, how much was crowdfunded, like all those statistics. And I'm just so excited to see what we've been able to do in just a year with the Kolosseum Studios. And I think when we get to see those numbers at the end, it's going to be pretty impactful. Sure. Yeah,
absolutely. And I know one thing is always my favorite thing is when we're launching a new series or event for something for the Kolosseum, it's when that QR trailer comes in, man.
Oh, yeah.
When that QR trailer hits the Dropbox and I get to watch it, I'm just sitting back and like, this fucking guy is so good at what he does. So what I want to ask you is, were you always kind of into graphic design? Like, was that like in your head, you're like, I want to do graphic design, I want to do 3D, I want to do trailers, or did it just kind of fell into your lap and you started doing it? Like, what was kind of the series leading up to you sitting at your computer and putting together these unbelievable trailers and graphics and all that?
So what I wanted to do when I was a kid was I wanted to design ships. I wanted to be like some sort of architect.
I'm sorry, I was not expecting that. I was not, dude. I was not.
I have this, like, I really love the ocean, and this kind of works out really great with Aqua too, because we have some stuff planned in the future.
Yes.
But I do have a lot of love. I have like I love the ocean, and specifically I love the wildlife in it.
Okay. Yes.
And there was a thing that I got hooked on when I was a kid. Was I was watching this show. I don't know if anyone watched Discovery, Animal Planet, or whatever. But they had a series on there called Whale Wars, where these guys would go down to Antarctica and fight, you know, Japanese whalers. Yeah, and they had a boat that looked like it came out of like a Batman movie. That looked so sick. It was so cool. It was called the Addie Gill. And I saw that boat and I was like, that is the coolest thing I think I've ever seen. And I was like, I want to build that. I want to build like variations of that boat at like, you know, whether it's for like military or yachts or whatever. I want to design those things. And I would like, I have scribbles from when I was in middle school drawing these boats. And I drew other things. Like I like to draw in middle school a lot. But the way I got into this from boats was I completely dropped that idea when I was in high school because I was like, you're a dumb kid. Like you're not designing boats. It's not a career. It is for someone, not for me.
Someone designed it, QR.
Someone designed it.
It wouldn't
It's not me.
It wouldn't exist.
It's a lot of work and math, and I'm not doing it. So what got me into this stuff though was I got into making YouTube videos, right? Because like at the time, like Call of Duty commentary was like a big deal, and so I was like really fascinated by that. Well, you see some channels that had like intros or they had graphics, they had stream graphics and stuff like that. Like when Twitch started coming, you could see like I thought it was the coolest thing when a Twitch streamer had like their sponsors at the top, right?
Yeah.
Or they had like who was following first, right? And I'm like, that's cool. I'm like, I wonder how they did that. And I couldn't find a way to get them without paying for it. So I was like, you know what? Let me just try and do it myself. So I did, and they were terrible. I mean, like a lot of the stuff that I made at the beginning was terrible, but again, completely self-taught, just looking, you know, through, you know, videos on YouTube. And when I got to Streamy, it was like, once I was at Streamy, all of my skills got like boosted. And that has a lot to do with Maze, who I was working with
100%.
a lot. And he pushed me super hard. Like I never had to like make a graphic like 15 times until I met Maze. So it was a lot of like self-improvement at Streamy that has gotten me to this point. And before, I would say anything before Streamy was terrible. Like I knew nothing. And so my experience at Streamy really kind of elevated that. So I did try to do things the right way though. When I was like before Streaming, like I had a website. I was trying to sell graphics through the website, not just do things through Twitter DMs and PayPal.
Smart.
Like I tried to do like the right way of doing it. But yeah, it started with me wanting to build ships, and I was super into drawing those, and that's what got me into drawing, and then, you know, designing, right? Because if you're designing a ship, it's like, you know, then you can start designing other things, which I do like with UX design and stuff like that. Like that's a completely different thing from graphic design and animation, video editing and stuff like that. Video editing, I kind of picked up because again, with the ocean thing, when I was a little kid, I wanted to, you know, go diving and recording video of the ocean, which is just like that to me seems like a really, really cool job to this day.
Yeah.
I think it'd be like this
to this day
job of, and I'd still love to do that. But so that's what got me into video. So the video side of things is kind of like all the way from when I was a kid. Like I like cameras and stuff. Like I got my first GoPro and I would go out on the four-wheeler and record GoPro footage, like just, and then put it together. It was just like, I think you guys have talked about it before, when you can just have an idea and then turn it into something, and that process of turning it into something that process alone is just so
it's addicting, man.
Yeah.
It's addicting.
Yeah. And it's different for so many projects that I have. It's a different process, but man, it's always a ride and it's always fun. So
And I gotta say, from so many different angles, you know, a couple of them could be for you guys watching from home, like some of the things that I know that I think about and that I know he thinks about when working on graphics, for whether it be like he talks about, maybe it's the UI of something, or if it's something for a live show, or if it's something for a trailer. You know, there's different things that you got to think about. You know, how is the person that's going to be, you know, watching this going to intake information differently depending on where it's placed, depending on all these other things. And QWA's you've gotten so good at, I think, that experience for users and everything that you touch. And so looking at your history, you started out getting, you know, heavily into graphics with Stream Me, And I see the shirt that you're wearing. It's gonna be a perfect segue into
Nice.
You took that experience and then, just like you probably should have, not to throw shade at a certain company, but you
Streamlabs.
you took that passion. Well, I was gonna take it somewhere else, but we can take it there too if you want. I was gonna say you were able to just start your own thing, and so that thing happens to be pixelpro.io. It's a shirt he's wearing right there, guys. Pixelpro.io. Put it in your URL. You'll thank me later if you're a content creator. Tell us about it, QR. That taking that experience, and tell us a little bit about what Pixel Pro is and how it started.
I apologize to the one guy in chat of season 1 that literally had the script for the Pixel Pro commercial like copied and pasted into chat every time.
If anyone was there for that, please let me know in the YouTube comments. And if you are the guy that did have that copy pasted every single time, we got to give him something. We got to get him a T-shirt or something.
Let me give him a shirt. Yeah.
Yeah. We did.
Was it just because the ad
And
was
on the
played
back
so
of the
much?
shirt.
Yeah.
And at the back of the
played
shirt.
so much. It was because the ad played so
It was
much.
the only
that
ad. Yeah.
It was the only ad you guys had.
It was the only
It
one.
was the only ad. So like
Everyone's gotta
literally,
start, man. Everyone's got to start somewhere.
it'd literally be it'd be me. It'd be like, welcome to pixelpro.io. And then boom, right in the chat,
And
you
then
would have it in
copy-paste
there.
every single time on command, every single week. It was fantastic. And then we brought it back months later, and he still did it.
We decided like on the season finale to mess with him, and it would be like, welcome to pixelpro.io. A platform, but and rather than going into what it actually was, we changed it to a different script.
Just because of the one guy.
Yeah, and then
copy and paste it.
he popped it in, and then he was like, "Oh shit, it's something different." Which was probably the most fun I've ever had on.
This is the kind of fun that we have behind the scenes as well.
This is what you got to do behind the scenes to not lose your shit. So I completely understand.
Yeah, I mean, like we have fun, and it's like Aqua was in the call with me. We're like, what should we do? What can we do to mess? Like, we just want to make funny ads, right? And because I own Pixel Pro, it doesn't matter. I don't care. Obviously, it's all with good fun. So whatever we make is appropriate, but it's something that you won't normally see from like a super serious ad. So we were trying to have some fun with it, and we did. But yeah, Pixel Pro has been around, right around the same time as 2017.
Oh,
it was right at the end of 2017, and this was a weird time because I was it was while I was still a contractor with StreamMe, and then it was like at the same time Streamlabs was reaching out to me about buying all of the graphics that I had made, stream graphics that I had made at that time. So right around that time, I had two like streaming companies kind of reach out to me for my work. One was offering me a job, and the other one was Streamlabs. And I had at the time on my website, which was called rootsandesigns.com, which is a terrible name.
it was alright.
It is all right, but so that was the name, and I had a page on it with free resources on it. So it was just graphics that I had made that weren't good enough for me to sell, or they were old and I didn't want them or whatever. And I'm like, you know what? I'm not using these. Let's just put them up for free, and that's what I did. And I saw just the numbers start going up, and it got me thinking. I'm like, okay, well we have this one page on this site that's not really dedicated to that, right? Why don't I just make something that has a better name and is, the sole purpose of it is providing resources for streamers, starting with the free stuff. And so I took everything that I had at Just Designs, including the paid stuff, and I was like, you know what? I'm not selling these anymore. I'm just going to put them out for free. I made a big library of graphics, and I put it on Pixel Pro. At the same time as doing that, I was getting, Streamlabs reached out to me, and we want to buy all your graphics. And I said, and I'm not going to try and throw like too much shade, especially with all the stuff going on right now, like with OBS and whatnot. But they reached out to me and they said, we would like to buy all of your graphics because we are building a library for our users to use. And I said, okay, sure. Are they going to be available for free, or are you charging for them? Like, how are you redistributing them? And they said, no, they're going to be free for our users. And I said, okay, great. You can have them. I didn't sell them. I said, you can have them as long as you can give credit to Jerusalem Designs and link my website to the listing of wherever the product or graphic is. They did none of that. They tried to get me on a contract, but at the time I was going to be working for StreamMe, so I didn't want to sign any contract that might conflict with that. So I didn't, but they decided that they were going to go through with it, and they put my stuff on there. They didn't credit any of them. And then now today on Streamlabs, those graphics are not free, and they are behind a $13 a month paywall. So even though Pixel Pro started before that, my sole mission for it and kind of like the whole not the concept, but like just the what is it called? I want to have like everyone involved with it to just have the same ideas of we are not going to, we're not going to do that to our users. We are going to have, all these graphics for free, and they are never not going to be free. Mm-hmm. We are never going to take that away from them. That is theirs. And I want to keep it that way. I don't want to ever take that away. I want that to be part of our culture. If Pixel Pro ever expands to just more than just me, which I'm thinking it will over the next couple of years, especially with the help of Nightmare, I want to be part of our culture and our values. Those were the words I was trying to think of earlier. But that needs to be our goal and what we're all about, because the way that they treated me as a designer and the way that they treated their users, just it doesn't sit well with me, and it never has. So that's kind of the goal of Pixel Pro now, is that we're gonna build some stuff that are really awesome, and we're gonna have some graphics packs that are not free, but once you buy it, you own it. You don't have to be subscribed to have it. So any decisions that we make, they have to be consumer friendly. They have to be, thinking about the user first. Over the past couple of years, I've been getting into UX design and making things easier. So every single time that I get feedback from people using Pixel Pro, it's like whatever they say, I listen to it and we'll see what we can do. And one of the first things that we do with Pixel Pro 2.0, if we get around to building it, like I said, with Nightmare, is to I have feedback, and we have like direct goals now when we're planning 2.0, we're going to do it because of these people that are using the site now. So I never want to leave them behind, and I never want to, offer something and then take it away. So we are, I'm pretty firm with that. And that's kind of like, I put it in all of our marketing stuff too. It's like, what is free stays free, and that's how it's going to be. And there's nothing to change unless I'm like dead and like the company goes off to do something on its own. It's never going to not be that, because that's just messed up. So
I really like that you kind of took a negative, that situation that happened. It rubbed you the wrong way, however you want to take that, and you turned it into a positive. And I think that is really crucial. And, we actually had Josh Gray on the show last week. And one thing I kept saying to him was, it seems like you're always putting the people first. You're putting the audience first. He was always putting the audience first in everything he said. And you literally said to yourself, you're like, the user comes first. And I think that's always going to be a recipe for success, no matter what you're doing. Whatever department you're in, whatever industry, if you're putting the individuals out there that are consuming your product first, then you always win. Like you're saying, you're putting stuff out for free. Like it doesn't get more consumer friendly than that, pretty much. Like, here, I'm putting the work in, but you guys can just have it, just take it, have dope looking streams, have awesome graphics for your videos, whatever the case is. You're putting it out there for free for the people. Again, massive recipe for success. I always respect anybody that is able to just kind of not get lost in the idea of, let me just get a couple dollars in my pocket. It's like, no, these are real human beings using this product. Like, I want to make it the best for them. So definitely love to hear that you took a negative and you turned it into a positive. And I think that speaks volumes to the type of individual that you are in this space.
Yeah. And I mean, like, we're the plans that I have for it is not to just help, me or those streamers, but as well as designers. Like,
nice.
With my experience with Streamlabs, it was just like, as a designer, it's like, I really wanted, I didn't want their money, I really wanted to have my my name on something, right? And to
Right.
help validate me as a designer, which is a really hard thing to do as a designer, especially in this really competitive space. It's like, here I have a really great opportunity to have my name, my logo, and a link to my website on a platform that a lot of creators use. It was like, for me, it's like, well, that's a great way to just for validation. And then to just, have someone come in and appreciate the stuff that I've built, which is, all this huge library of graphics, and then want it. I felt appreciated, but then, when they put it out the way that they didn't even tell me they put it out, by the way. They were just like, it was out. I didn't like that. I don't want a designer to feel like that when they're at Pixel Pro. So we're going to be, we already currently have a marketplace that I manage, that I have to manage, but we're working on building something where people can go in and sell their stuff, and they can see the price cuts. They can see everything. Everything's super transparent, and
this is for other designers that you would like people to use Pixel Pro to sell their designs as well, and just create this marketplace for content creators. And for anyone watching this, if you need graphics, pixelpro.io right there. And it sounds like this 2.0 is going to be something that's just going to be exactly what you envision it to be, which is something that's for the users. It's for this space that you've been working in, and with all the experience that you've done, it sounds like you're doing it the right way. Being always about the user experience, because that's who's going to be supporting you in the end. And so I think you're gonna be doing just fine, man, and doing so much, man. You've got Pixel Pro going on. You work on Kolosseum. You do a lot of other side stuff as well. You live stream on Twitch.
We didn't even get to that.
You've got a YouTube. You've got a TikTok going now, and so you've got a lot going on. How have you been able to kind of bounce it all on top of working as well? It's like bam, 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 bam. You're constantly going. How do you manage that?
Yeah. The balancing is actually not easy, and I don't even think I balance anything very well, if I'm honest. And anyone who can do it, I have no idea how. Like, if you have all these other
same actually, if you have ideas, please let us know. Please let us know in the comments.
Yeah, leave them in the comments below. Make sure you like and subscribe. We are. It's not like. It's not like, some people, like, they can divide it in percentages, right? It's like wherever I need to get stuff done is where I need to get it done. When it comes to Colo stuff, it's like, okay, we have season 2 coming up. So I spend more of my time on Colo than I do on Pixel Pro. My work, that stays consistent, my actual job. That's like probably the one thing that's consistent. Anything in my free time is kind of all over the place. So I'll have I've stopped taking commissions from people for the most part. Like, I say no a lot of the time. Sometimes I say yes, but
my bad.
Try to not do those as much. Yeah, it's usually Aqua that gets that going, but it's I try to not do them because it takes a lot of time, and it's a lot of like, I don't mind coordinating with people and stuff like that. And if they don't like it, you go back and redesign it, and you collaboration and all that stuff. Like I did that for a long time, and I don't really care for doing it anymore. I think the skills that I've developed, working in a tech company, when it comes to UX design or QA, like those skill sets for me, I want to put towards, Pixel Pro. So I do design for Pixel Pro. We do free monthly content updates. So every month there's new stuff coming on the free resource section. And then I do stuff with Colo. And then the live streaming stuff is more just like personal hobby. Like I play video games. And so if you're playing video games and you're going to be playing them anyways, you might as well stream, because you click one button and then you're done. So it's like, I mean, it's as simple. It can be as simple as clicking one button, but then it could also be as complex as like doing all the other stuff, which is what I love doing. Actually making the productions, which is what I love doing.
I don't know.
I follow.
QR real quick. Yeah. If you guys have looked at Kolosseum, well, first off, go check out the VODs. They're right here on the YouTube channel. If you're watching on Spotify, go to the YouTube, Kolosseum Studios. They're fantastic productions. And this is someone who has done every production, has been at the highest levels of production in esports. And he still will outdo these major productions with unholy amounts of money into them. And his personal stream is ridiculous for no reason. If you just look at the graphic work that he put into it and all the integrations, and for him this is a hobby, but you should truly check it out if you're looking for some sort of inspiration when it comes to a personal stream. QR, you've done a wonderful job with it, even though it's just a hobby, just like kind of everything else. And
Yeah.
you know, that's what a lot of us here in this space have done. Is I used to work for Lowe's, and I used to, for years, spend thousands of the dollars that I made there. I just turned around and spent it on running Mortal Kombat tournaments or traveling to Mortal Kombat tournaments, and that was it. I would work, and then I'd do that until a point where I could only do that, and it was just constantly doing it. And so nothing but success, I feel like, for you. But I did want to tell people, if you go check out QR stream, you'll be blown away by the graphics for like no reason.
That is the only thing that's gonna blow you away. Gameplay, personality wise, is not going on there.
I wasn't gonna. Hey, I gave you a compliment without mentioning anything else. All right.
We're talking about the gameplay here.
But to be fair though, that is like the one thing I pride myself with is like, okay, I want to make it. It's a test platform for me to like mess with stuff, right? Like I'll use my personal stream to test stuff for Colo. You know, like I figured out how we could do replays. You know, or I figured out how we could, you know, this type of stinger, which we have a new stinger going in season 2 that's really
spoilers,
cool.
By the way.
It's a
Hey, if they're
stinger.
listening to the KoloCast, they get the little bites. They get the little
Listen.
bites if they're listening to KoloCast.
No one here
they get
even
little sneak peeks.
No one cares about this
That's
new
true.
stinger but me. Like
That's
I care
true.
about it, and it looks really cool.
No
and
one's gonna mention it in chat one time.
It's different. It's using a different technology that they added into OBS, so we're going to utilize it this season. But yeah, it's a great place for me to experiment with those things, and like I'll play games with Aqua or whatever. I don't know. If you're playing video games and you're you have some interest in streaming, I say just click the button and go live. Even if you don't have a camera, you can just have your microphone and gameplay, and that's totally it, and that's fine.
Get
You know,
some cool
all the
graphics
donations,
from
the
pixelpro.io.
follows, and all that
Get some
other
graphics
stuff.
from pixelpro.io. Get your mic, get your
They're
gameplay,
free.
and you're good.
Even with no cam, just get a 16:9 border. Make it
Yeah,
look
just
nice.
put it there. Just leave it there.
But
you
even
know-
if you don't care about like, you know, all the extra stuff, like I don't, like the donations and the subs and stuff like that, it's like it's never something that I luckily need. Like I don't need any of that extra financial support. It's there, but I don't like push for it or anything like that, because I do truly just like playing video games and having conversations with other people. So it's like my goal with my stream, and it might be it might be a low bar for a lot of people, but for me, I think just having 10 people consistently in there to have to talk to would be like all I want out of streaming. And that's it. And I experiment with these other things like TikTok and YouTube for growth and stuff, but that's so that we can take that and utilize it in other ways, like with Pixel Pro or with, you know, the Kolosseum, which I've been trying so hard to get us on TikTok here at the Kolosseum, and we will get there at some point.
It's a slow process. It's a very
It's all
slow
my fault,
process.
man. It's all my fault. But you know what? You are. I going back to what you were talking about a little bit before. I wanted to mention this just before I move on to the next topic. But I do feel like in this space, probably in every space, to be honest, but since we're in the gaming space, designers kind of do get the shit end of the stick, man. Like these are the people that are prettying up everybody. Like there's so many horror stories of people that even make emotes and stuff like that on Twitch and like not getting paid or getting screwed over, putting them on the word. It's like designers get such a bad rap, man, and they're literally the ones like pretty much dressing you up. Like you're gonna go out there naked if you don't have your designer. You know what I'm saying? Like they're making you look good, and I really think that it's time people put respect on the designer's name.
Oh,
is what I'm getting at.
1,000%. Please, guys, if
Like
you know,
it's insane, but
anytime you watch something, just keep in mind what went into making it look the way it did.
just
and
appreciate the pretty
Just
things
appreciate it,
popping up. Appreciate the pretty things popping up. But I wanted to ask in terms of the Kolosseum. You know, you're not an MK player. Like we joked before, like who's your main? You couldn't even name a character. Like we were just messing around before. But I want to know, with the Kolosseum, as like from the design standpoint that you're in, what is one of your favorite things to experience? Like, is it like when we put a trailer out and you see the reaction? Is it all the people coming together in chat? Like, what's one of your favorite aspects? Of course, you love everything we do at the Kolosseum. Of course, you gotta. But when you sit back, what you like, dude, that was fucking awesome. Like, hell yeah. What's that feeling you get?
A lot of it is like what you said, like when the trailers come out. The trailers are definitely one where it's like instant feedback, right? But then I'll catch myself like watching the streams, and then when we're going to a bracket, right? I'm like, oh, I gotta see what chat's saying because there's a bracket animation or there's a new graphic. I'm like, so I get excited for that, right?
Nice.
But no, yeah, I like I mean, even the feedback on everything though. I mean, like we like I said, we do work hard, and so just seeing people appreciate that is great. And even if they don't, you know, like the criticism and stuff like that, that's important too.
Yeah.
And I love all of it. So any of that feedback and stuff is what I like to see. Graphics wise, I don't get a lot of it. Like there's just be like, oh, that's sick. I'm like, oh, sweet, dope, cool.
One
like,
person in chat liked it. Yes.
Yeah, I'm like, sweet. But yeah, like we, you know, I do work hard on trying to enhance the experience for the viewer, and like we're doing that again. You know, this time around where we're adding things to the show that makes it easier for people to understand. This goes back to the UX design thing. Anything that we can do to make the show better for a viewer, especially first time viewers, to kind of get more context to what we're doing, where we are. Like even having, like, we didn't, for instance, and like, you know, all of our tournaments before this, we didn't have our bracket position up on the scoreboard. Well, we do now, as well as, you know, first to three or whatever the rule set is. So we're adding in things like that give context to the viewer that I think is extremely important. And it doesn't even matter what it looks like. It's just the fact that it's there. And that's part of the user experience. That
it also
so
looks good though. On top of it, it also looks
does
good.
look good. It does look
because
pretty good.
QR did it. But that's besides
Of course.
Right, and we did that with the last couple of Colosseums that we did too. We added like little lower thirds that would pop up that would say what's coming up next. Again, giving more context to the viewer,
Just those
making it easier,
changes going up and up and up.
Yeah, just making it easier for them to understand what's going on, and that way they don't have to go looking for the bracket and all anything that we can do like that. Was just
really, we just want you to stop asking us shit. At the end of the day, guys that are watching this, stop asking us questions. Like, just watch, sit back, and enjoy.
Well, if
that's
we
what
do
that's
it
what,
right
that's
the
what we
first
really
time,
want.
they don't have to ask.
That's
QR
right.
literally just went on this whole like tangent about it's so important for the user to feel welcomed, and we want them.
Not
and
at all.
Aquaman's
Not
like,
at all,
just
guys.
stop fucking asking me shit.
I'm just gonna step on their throats right now. We've been talking the viewer up way too much here, guys. I need to humble
hold
them
on,
real
wait.
quick.
Let me clarify.
I need to humble them real quick.
Let me clarify. Don't get too comfortable. I'm just kidding. No, it is really important to us. It's important to Aqua too. He's faking.
100%. QR
so
knows
funny,
that like, you know, our team is this conglomerate that's been doing events together for a long time, and our kind of overall philosophy has always remained the same, where we never try to put like an immense pressure on doing it at all in any sense or form. Putting pressure on ourselves. We want to do something just because we're having fun, because we enjoy it, and all of us get, whether it be the same or something different out of it at the end of the day, that makes us feel fucking great. You know, when that post event hits, like like all of us feel great, especially if it was a good show, which at the Kolosseum, more times than not, it's a fantastic show. Yeah, always a good show here at the Kolosseum, and I hope you guys are ready for season 2 that is coming up, because we have been working hard on it.
Tomorrow.
It starts
Season 2
it starts tomorrow, Friday, and let me go ahead and shout it out as we conclude this conversation with one of our own here at the Kolosseum, QR. But I do want to push Kolosseum season 2 real quick, everyone. If you are interested at all in competing in Injustice 2, Mortal Kombat X, or Mortal Kombat 11. Sign up for the Kolosseum Season 2. Each game has its own prolonged series with a brand new format. In what I take pride in at the Kolosseum, which is coming up with these series in really unique ways. We did a global event this year. And I've been checking things off my bucket list really with the Kolosseum this year. We did our own global series with an unholy amount of countries that participated from around the world, and players. We went back in time and did what no one else has been able to do, which is play older titles online. We did it in a very smooth way. And with season 2, I wanted to change up the player's experience. You know, we talked about the viewer's experience here at the Kolosseum. My job is kind of the player experience, you know. And so that's what I take my pride in, putting this format together, where to make it as simple as possible, you guys will be competing in what will essentially be like Combat League, only without Wi-Fi and against tournament players for a certain amount of time.
Wi-Fi.
There's never fucking Wi-Fi here.
QR is a
Coliseum.
Wi-Fi guy.
Should
if
we
QR
do?
played Combat
I
League,
am
he'd be a Wi-Fi
absolutely
guy.
not a Wi-Fi guy. I'm absolutely not a Wi-Fi guy.
But yeah,
When I was looking at houses, I was looking specifically for Ethernet ports.
Yep, it was the only thing.
That's the only thing.
But yeah, so guys, sign up for Kolosseum Season 2. The format's different. You cannot go 0-2. There is no downtime. There are no rounds or timers to worry about. You just show up, join the bracket, as it were, and you hit Q for a match. You play the match. You finish the match. You queue for another match, and you play another match until the period ends. And that's it for the week. That also happens off stream, so there's no pressure for you guys to compete on stream unless you make top 8. Then you got to play for me on stream, because we do need a show here at the Coliseum where we do need to show off QR's absolutely gorgeous and stunning graphical work. And I think that I'm going to go ahead and end it there, and let's get a little bit more out of QR here. Sign up for Season 2. We'll put the links down below. But QR, I'm excited for it. I know we're all here excited for it, and I know that even I've learned a little bit about you in this conversation, and you're an incredibly talented and interesting.
You learned that I wanted
man.
to design ships.
I think I'm going to title this
That's
from boats
pretty godlike.
to... I need to include the boats somehow in the title.
From boats to
one.
graphics.
From boats to Mortal Kombat.
I shouldn't have told that story because it's really not that important to me.
That is the only thing I'm going to remember.
It was the
about you
best
for the
part.
rest of my
It was the
life.
best part about this interview, to be honest with you.
QR, please tell them where to find you. Tell them where to go. List it off for them. Shill as much.
Shill
as you
yourself
can
right now here. Directly to the people.
Yeah. So first off, I just want to say thank you guys for listening. Thank you for watching the streams. It's really important to us that we get community feedback and that people are here. I mean, if you weren't, we wouldn't be doing this anyways, and we'd have no reason to. So thank you. And other than that, if you are a content creator, please check out pixelpro.io. That is kind of my passion project on the side, and hopefully it becomes a bit bigger and can help you in even more ways than just graphics and music and whatnot. But yeah, other than that, my Twitter's down there. I do stream. Can't promise you it's going to be great, but we can chat about whatever you would like. If it's about Kolosseum graphics, quick. If you want to
real quick, QR, everyone go to QR's stream one time when he's live, and I want you to sit there. Don't even talk. I want you to lurk. Don't even let him know that you're there. But sit back and watch and enjoy, and wait for him to just die in whatever game he's playing, and just get ready to laugh in the most spectacular way. It's incredible.
I should trademark it. But yeah, no, again, like seriously, thank you guys for watching and listening, and it is really important. So again, thank you so much for that.
You are, like I said before, man, you're a fucking wizard. Don't ever let anybody tell you otherwise, all right? You're literally way too good at what you do, and honestly, I think it's kind of a problem.
It's disgusting.
I'm missing the lightning bolt, right? Like
you need either that or you need like the avatar arrow on your head. I don't know what the fuck you're doing, but you're way too good at what you do. But seriously, everybody go give QR a follow, pixelpro.io for all your graphics needs. QR, awesome talking to you, man. We can't wait to launch Season 2 and see all of that good stuff that you've whipped up for it. We appreciate all you guys watching. Please be sure to subscribe to the Coliseum. We're going to be live streaming all of the events here, and we're also going to be having the VODs and all that good stuff here on the channel. So be sure to check those out. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll catch you next week for another episode of KoloCast. Peace.